All right, guys, today is May 3rd, 2015. We're just going to do a quick analysis on the ES here. I'm probably going to go ahead and separate each futures video so that whoever wants to watch a specific analyst video on whatever specific future that you guys want, you'll be able to just go on my page and click whichever one floats your boat. As well as I'll be doing some stock analyst analytic, I don't know, things for you guys to look at as well. Setting up for essentially next week. The first one we're going to go over is the one that I'm most actually interested in, which is the one that I trade the most of, and that is the ES. We have been going up for the last 9 days. That has not happened since 2024. A 10th green day would essentially mean that has not happened since 1995. I think we're itching closer to a mean reversion trade, but I want to be patient. I don't want to shoot my shot early on this trade because we could overextend a bit, and I don't want to get caught trying to front run this move. I actually just want to wait and see the price action start, getting a little bit heavy. Maybe Monday we open up, we surge higher, and then we fail previous day highs, fail a pre-market low, and then start continuously fading. That's what I would be interested in. Or at any point that we see that type of price action where we're above like a previous day highs, which would essentially be like this purple line, and then we start kind of failing it. Maybe we fell a pre-market low, and then you can kind of use that as a guide if the tape stays heavy to short, because I do think that we have the possibility of a very, very good mean reversion trade. I mean, think about how many people, that's in retail that currently has been buying this run up while institutions have sold their positions. There's been a lot of institutions have not been buying. It's been retail buying, these moves up. And I do think that a mean reversion is going to happen, which can cause a little bit of a sell-off. We do have a gap here on the ES. Futures does like to fill gaps, so just keep in mind that this is here right now. Like, this needs to get filled at some point. It does not have to be now, but I do think the mean reversion is coming. I think that this is a good way to be prepared. As you can see, I already have a trend line drawn on macro time frames on the daily. I have one from the 4-hour as well. And honestly, if you were to miss, some of these moves and we fail, let's say this area of 5.30s ish area, and we start breaking below these trend lines, you can clearly see that, we can kind of fade off a bit. Maybe you get one of these moves. Let's see. Maybe you get like a dip down, then up, and then, kind of just tank out. Something like that. If you could see that on your screen, maybe something like that. Little break and retest type Vincent, strategy. Good chance we could see something like that. But my goal is I want to get a good chunk of this move. So I'm not saying that it's gonna happen on Monday, but I do suspect that we do get some sort of mean reversion. The levels that I think that you guys should be paying attention to essentially is, kind of this 5.740-ish area up to this 780s area where we have the 200 daily SMA descending average. Also have a descending 100, and then look at this resistance that we have, and this is a daily chart. Look at this bottom wick, flush out, kind of reclaim, flush out. Can't get above, finally get above, and then flush out with this wick, and then try to get back up and flushed again. We're entering that zone. You can notice it here on the 4-hour as well, how important this level is going to be. We also have that 200 there, keep in mind. And look, this just seems like very systematic buying. Like nice, low, higher, low, higher, low, higher, low. And what I've noticed this weekend, or throughout this week of trading, is everything just, look at these candles here, like dip, bought up, dip, bought up, dip, bought up, dip, extreme bought, buy up. So do we get that 10th consecutive green day? There's definitely a possibility for it. I am not interested in buying up here. My plan is to be patient and wait. I don't care if it takes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I don't care. I want to be prepared for the mean reversion that's going to happen, because it's not a case of if, it is more of a case of when it happens, because this to me just seems unsustainable. 10 straight green up days, if we get it on Monday, is absolutely insane. Like I said, it hasn't been done since 1995. The reason why we did get a nice up move, by the way, mid-session on Friday, is we ended up in this candle, which was the highest volume candle of the day, aside from, I believe, this close. But I don't know how true this is here. It's because they did have news that China is working with the U.S. on the fentanyl crisis. And, you know, obviously anything China news related is going to help surge this market, because that's the number one kind of, we're issuing out, or Trump's issuing out tariffs, and getting a deal done with China is big for the market. So what I want to see is, I want to see how much that news is going to be recycled over and over again. And then I want to see how price action is going to be kind of gauged on each time we get news on what's happening with the China tariffs and the deals. Because if we start staying heavy, if the tape starts staying heavy on the previous day highs and pre-market, lows, and there's perpetual news coming out with China, and whether it's good or bad, it doesn't really matter. If price action is no longer willing to get bidded up, I'm going to assume that the news is starting to get priced in, right? Because they'll do that. These news outlets, they'll bring up the same news over and over and over again, stating the same thing that we already knew from this day, right? From Friday. They might go ahead and rehash that news coming into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, trap people who are buying, and then slowly fade the market off for a clean mean reversion. Now, what I do want to prepare for as well is not a full-fledged mean reversion. I don't suspect we get one of these type of days, one of these type of flush outs. I think that what the market could do is it can go red and then get bought up, making it seem like, shorts might have got trapped, which they could have. Surge the market up and then fade. So you just got to be aware. It might take a day or two for the clean mean reversion trade to come in. Yet again, I'm looking at this daily 200 level. I'm looking at this daily 100 level. And I have this supply area marked out on my charts. You can see on the daily how clean this could get a nice reaction to. I mean, this is supply up here, 200, 100. That is what I'm prepared for. I do think at some point we're going to fill this gap. I just want to bring up the VIX, and I'll probably do it for each futures as well. The VIX finally filled in a price alert gap that I had right here. Remember, I had talked about this last week, that at some point, VIX fills its gap. Look what we have. We still have an overhead gap here at 37.54. Do not be surprised if we get a ramp all the way back up here. No one should be surprised if that was to happen. Because these levels on VIX do like to get, filled. So these gap downs and gap ups. Just be very aware of that situation. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. I will be uploading an NQ one. To me, this is the easiest future to look at currently. This is the best looking one. I think this is, obviously NQ and ES are going to move similarly. So just pay attention to it. If you like playing the growth, sure, I like NQ, but if you want to check the NQ chart, it'll be in a separate video. Just click my profile and you'll be able to see why I like ES more than I like NQ. I'll be doing a breakdown of that. This has already been 8 minutes and I want to make ES short and clean for you guys. So hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like on the video. I got some demand here, by the way. Just in case we do get that washout and something does hold, we have that 5534, to 5510-ish area where we were kind of getting perpetual wicks. I want to see if this can hold, if we do get that mean reversion trade for another bounce, and then, some sort of a fade eventually. But just be aware, man. I don't know who is buying up here, but this is a dangerous place to be buying because institutions are not buying up here. They're just not. So with that being said, I hope you guys are prepared. Those are my supply levels. These are the daily SMAs you guys should be paying attention to. Hope you guys enjoyed and got some value out of it. I'm out of here. Peace out.